Welcome back to RealAg Radio. It's now time for our weekly Rocky Talk segment, which is brought to you by Rocky Mountain Equipment. Dependability is what we do. Find out more about Rocky Mountain Equipment by going to rockymtn.com. Joining me right now for Rocky Talk is Stephen Gillis. He is the Regional Ag Optimization Specialist. Stephen, how's it going?
Very good. Yourself, Sean?
Doing really good, doing good. So today we're going to talk about precision system water management. This is a pretty techie title here. So explain to me the difference between precision system water management procedure versus a more traditional approach.
So with the precision system, it's a little more pre-planned. It's a little more thought out. So traditionally, going back to my father's farm, for instance, he had a tractor, he had a scraper, he knew where the water was, he had an idea of how to get it to where he wanted it to be. And he'd go out and he'd scrape a little bit of dirt and move a little bit of water, and hopefully it worked. And he'd wait for it to rain to see if it did, and then he'd go and touch it again. So it's a multi-year process, and a lot of guys will be sitting there going, well, I've been trying to drain this same piece for 10 years. So that's kind of the traditional approach. Some guys are really good, and they've developed a good eye for it, and they're fairly effective. Most guys are going in year to year, over and over again, and essentially trying to fix the same problem. With a precision system, what we do is we put an antenna on the implement that's doing the work, whether it's a scraper, whether it's a pull blade, whatever you've got, and we do a very quick survey. So literally as fast as you can drive, we can survey that with the tractor itself, figure out exactly where you're starting from, exactly what needs to happen in order to make it work. You calculate your design, and then you install that ditch, and you know it's going to work because you put in your slope, you've had a very precise survey. So you go in, you do it once, you're done. That ditch is solved, you move on to the next project.
Yeah, and I remember as a kid, I can remember going out there and it was like, I can remember my dad, they would do it by sight of eye, right? It was sort of like, well, I know the water flows this way. This is the natural drain. Or if we got super techie, we go out there with a stick. And then, I remember standing out there with a stick and we would do the sights. But there is way more technology and way more accuracy now when we talk about precision water management.
Oh, absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with the transit. You can do a precise job with that, but it takes a lot more time and effort to pre-plan it with the transit. Whereas with the current GPS system, it's a matter of as fast as you drive it. So if you have a mile-long ditch, it's a couple of minutes to drive that. And most ditches are nowhere near that long.
Well, and you can give your kids something else
so
to do.
Much faster, much more precise.
You can give your kids something else to do. You can go pick rocks instead of having to hold that transit stick. Okay, so winter's getting close here, and a lot of our listeners are still trying to wrap up harvest in a good part of Western Canada. But winter is coming close here, so when we do have a little bit of downtime, is it too late to do any preparation done or pre-planning for water management?
I would say it's probably too late to do any pre-planning, whereas, say we can come in and do a survey and give you a design and give you that information so you can go to the field. It's too late for that for this season, but we can still do it for next season. And there's still time to put a system onto your own unit so you can do your own surveying, your own design, your own installation. There's still lots of time for that, because if you can tell me where your water is and where you want it to go, we can give you a system that'll control it down to the inch in order to make that happen. There's definitely still time for that to happen.
Yeah, and if we think back to this past spring, in parts of, I know, southern Alberta, there was water everywhere, right? And so how quickly after a really, really dry summer we forget about water management. It's sort of not exactly top of mind, but every year brings different conditions, and making sure you make the best use of as much of that land as you possibly can. And that's why water management is just so critical on so many farms.
Oh, yeah. And, how often have guys gone and seeded a portion of the field and then gone back to get that wet spot? If you can make your whole field much more consistent, you can go in there, you seed it all at once, so you can harvest it all at once. It's all the same growing stage. You're not going around obstacles. The benefits to doing proper water management are pretty incredible when you start thinking about it and putting figures on everything, dollar figures.
Yeah. Stephen, thanks a lot for joining us here for Rocky Talk.
Thank you very much for having me.
That is Stephen Gillis. He is the Regional Ag Optimization Specialist. Thanks very much to Rocky Mountain Equipment for sponsoring Rocky Talk. If you want more information on Rocky Mountain Equipment, you can go to rockymtn.com. Okay, we'll be right back on RealAg Radio right after this.